If you want a burger, eat a burger. If you want a Cuban sandwich, eat a Cuban sandwich. Hey, it's Sgt Grizzlegrits. That's right. We're down at the local Goodwill. We're getting some nice props for our nice show coming up. We're gonna have a nice Christmas spectacular. But it ain't gonna be about Santa Claus. It's gonna be about Jesus. All right, now we'll catch y'all later on. Y'all make sure y'all stay groovy now. All right, here. All right, let's go. Look, when we get the lawsuit money, we're gonna do the Grizzly Army Ministry. We're gonna have our own little thrift shop so folks can come in and get some nice designer clothes and get them at a nice, reasonable price. Guess what? Now we're gonna go get some. Come on over here, everybody. I'll show you. It was like $50. Are you kidding me? You're gonna get my head. It's a little more of a price than it used to be. That's all right. Look at this. I got my nice designer Chinese shirt. We're going on tour. We're heading to China tonight. All right, now y'all follow us on SgtGrizzlegrits.com. We're up and coming rapper. We're in the rap game now. That's right. Now we're doing a video with the Island Boys here soon. All right, we'll see y'all soon now. It says we're live. Are we live? Oh my gosh, we're live. Look, friends, it's Sgt Grizzlegrits. We're down here at the local Campbell's Dairy Aisle. That's right, friends, look at this. Grizzlegrits. We're down here at the local Campbell's Dairy Aisle. That's right, friends, look at this. We're out here getting some milkshakes and some Cuban sandwiches. Oh yeah. That's right, friends, we're down at the local Campbell's Dairy Aisle in Brandon.
I taste the salt in my mouth.
Oh, well, you're not supposed to spill salt on the table. It's bad luck or something. All right, leave that alone. Look, friends, that noise back there. That's a milkshake specialist putting my vanilla milkshake together. It's gonna take a while. That's the big one. That's 32 ounces there. What'd you get? Got the cookies and cream. That's right, friends. That's the Grizzly truck right out there. That way we have eyes on our vehicle at all times, friends.
Tell them to play that.
Just like the military, without all the perversions.
Who's watching?
Nobody. Look, friends, we're gonna go over a child's book report because Campbell's Dairy Aisle, I believe it was built in the 80s. The lady said 40 years.
Yeah.
I'm 45, so yeah, about 40 years. So look, friends, Campbell's Dairy Aisle, Christian place. They're not open on Sundays, I don't believe. They got some really good stuff. But look, friends, we're gonna review some.
I can taste the salt in my mouth.
We're gonna review some book reports because they posted them on the. Oh yeah, of course.
God's creation.
Look at this, friends. If you give a cat a cupcake, look, friends, that's about a cat. And if you give I don't know, they'd probably get sick, wouldn't they?
No.
It tells a story that if you give a cat a cupcake, then he will want sprinkles on it. And once you put sprinkles on the cupcake, then he'll eat the cupcake, but he won't be happy, and he'll go back to the beach. Oh, friends, I told you, animals are they're never content. Our cat's never content. But here, let's go outside. We'll take a little tour real quick. Hold on. All right, we're gonna go check out the little playground. Look, friends, I've never been live on Instagram. This is kind of cool, but the Lord says the lawsuit's done. I got to step up the character, Sgt Grizzlegrits. That's right. Oh yeah. Friends, these are 1980s approved the playground, so you're gonna get hurt out here. Look at this, friends. Friends, this was my childhood. This is where I came when I did my childhood. I don't know, friends. Oh yeah, Sgt Grizzlegrits, our food's done. Look, friends, if you bring your kids here, expect one of them to go to the hospital because this is how we were in the 80s.
I'll bring it up to you.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'll eat out here. Oh, wonderful. Let me go get some napkins.
Well, I want to eat inside because it's hot out here.
You want to eat inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not winter.
All right, we'll go eat inside. That way the lady don't have to bring everything out here. What a nice day, friends. Hey, we're going to eat inside, I think. It's a little hot. All right, come on, let's go over here. We're going to get some napkins. All right. Oh, yeah.
It's a French fry.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Blessing.
That's right, friends. You got to say the blessing. I don't care if you're in stinking public. You better be saying your daggone blessing before you eat your meal. We got to wait for our milkshakes. Hey, stop that. We don't talk like that. Hold on, friends. Here, you get a couple napkins. All right, here. Hey, watch this. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
That's hot.
It's very hot.
Oh.
If you want a burger, eat a Cuban sandwich. If you want some French fries, eat a Cuban sandwich. Friends, I don't know why that thing's so funny. Friends, life's too serious. You know, we gotta have fun. All right, look, friends, we went with the Cuban sandwich. I'm sorry, friends, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to drop it. Hold on. All right. Here. Friends, these Cubans are huge, so we split it. Oh my gosh, are you gonna be able to eat that?
Yeah. I could eat a whole
Well, you don't like lettuce. I gotta take your right? So, try it. The lettuce is, we gotta say the blessing first. All right, look, friends, I'm gonna show you what right looks like. All right. Friends, we all hold hands, so give me your hand. All right. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Jesus, bless this food and the nourishment of our bodies. Help everyone have a good day today, Lord. Help people do something nice for other folks. And Jesus, please let us enjoy this yummy Cuban sandwich, and let us have a good day for the remainder of our day. And Jesus, help my neighbors. It was so horrible having Jesus' neighbor passed away. In Jesus' holy name, amen. All right, friends. All right. I can't believe you're actually trying this. Where's our shakes at? Friends, I think they forgot our milkshakes. Oh, wait. I told you these people are professionals here. It ain't like McDonald's. Theirs is always broken. This one works. It's like the only one in the country that works, I think. Hang on, I gotta go find out about this milkshake. Hey, we got a whole bunch of fries in there.
I know.
Oh. Was there a large vanilla too?
I'm sorry.
Was there a large vanilla as well? Or did you not bring it? Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I get it? All right, here. That's yours.
This is big.
Yeah, it's very big. There you go. I'm sorry. Oh, I gotta have one. Hey. Yeah, they forgot to ring me up. That's okay then. Look at this, friends. Friends, we're so blessed to have a place like this, literally just miles from the house. So cool. I love all the vintage signs in here, you know. This place, like, literally hasn't been touched by time since the 80s. We like it a lot. Hey, go to the online store and get you a shirt. You know you want one. Goop Scoop. Well, hey, you know, you gotta stay healthy. We're getting back in the gym next week. You need some ketchup? Oh, man, thank you so much. All right, thank you. Save the day. All right, look, friends, we're gonna go. We're gonna eat our lunch. It'd be rude for me to eat in front of y'all. So we're gonna say goodbye to you, but we're gonna see you later on, right? All right, now, y'all stay groovy. We'll see you later on. How the heck do you stop this thing now? That's right, friends. You get to hang out with me for a little while. Got another little argument with Mrs. Grizzlegrits. Friends, I know these things happen. But friends, I ain't gonna sit around and have an argument. I'm gonna get in the truck and just go for a little drive, friends. Friends, I am not gonna go through what the hell I had to go through last year. And if she's still got little things to figure out, well, we're just gonna go on a little drive and sing a little hot water music, friends. Friends, I've come too far. Friends, we're not gonna get into it. We're just gonna do a little drive. We're gonna go visit our little soldier friend over here. That's right, friends. I told you, my grizzly soldier's buried over here. Y'all know where we're going. I'm sorry, friends. I don't know. My phone's acting up. It's stuck on repeat. I wish when I was growing up in the bands, I wanted to be the third singer in the hot water music band, but I didn't have the beard back then. But I do now, and I got the grizzly voice. My grizzly soldier and Colonel Leslie's company, friends. I'm gonna say hi to my soldier real quick. Here we go. Look, friends, you got to know your history. There's a United States soldier buried right here in Lithia, Florida, Valrico, Bloomingdale area. He's right here, friends. He's off. What road is this? Stearns Road. Look, friends, Private Carney. For those of y'all who've been following me a while, you know I come every time my wife and I get in a little argument and I gotta leave the house. I come out here and pull some weeds, you know. Friends, that's how I deal with my stress. I'm not gonna break stuff. I ain't gonna scream and holler anymore. Oh, these leaves, yeah. But look, friends, look at them drumsticks. Yeah, we put those there last year and we cleaned it up. Friends, my father took me here when I was a kid because he found it. And back in, the 90s, he was just driving around and he found it, It was just a headstone next to the tree. But friends, when I was going through my nightmare last year, I came out here as God told me to, friends. Hang on, friends. Friends, God had me come out here last year, when I was going through that evil. And believe it or not, later on that night, I went to jail for the ham radio, not having the ham radio license, because I was doing a scanner in my truck, because I was doing a skit, and I told you, we don't want to go there, but the sheriff's down here, they got, I don't know, friends, I don't want to go there now, I'm not in the mood. But friends, all it had last year was just these little bricks. Friends, this thing was overgrown, you could barely see it, and I cleaned it up just a little bit, friends. And look, friends, look at the addition. Let me see. Friends, somebody came and put all the pavers after, friends, I cleaned it up, friends, and somebody finished the job. They put the pavers, and look, friends, look at this. I hadn't been out here in like 6 months, but somebody added a new addition, friends. Look, friends, when you're a soldier, you're a soldier. It don't matter if you got killed in 1856, April 17th, or today, or in the global war on terrorism, friends. That was my war. This was my uniform here. But look, friends, you gotta be kind, We're gonna slip up. We're gonna have challenges, and we got a little challenge we're overcoming today, friends. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Oh, he's like coming out here. Look, friends, we just want to cruise. We're just driving. Friends, I had to leave the house. It was just getting too hot around that place. Like I told you, we've been broke. We don't have the money to send all our kids to all these little camps. And friends, no offense to some of these camps, I don't know y'all. I'm not gonna have my kids go hang out with y'all all day if I don't go to your church. I'm sorry, friends. We don't live in normal times anymore. Just because you got a church don't mean you're preaching the word of God, friends. Friends, every church I've ever been to and been a part of, we're always good churches. But I know there's some bad ones out there. I'm not saying that. Hang on, friends. I don't want to crash my truck. Corporal Stevens ain't with me today. He told me I got to figure this one out on my own. So I did, friends. I just got in the truck. I drove. I put some hot water music on, and I went on the live. And now we're hanging out with my private over here. Private Carney, friends. Oh, friends, I don't know. It makes me so proud, friends. I came out here and started it, and like 3 other people came and finished it, friends. And they just added things that I would have never thought of. Friends, I would have never thought of bringing that statue out here, but somebody did, and it looks so cool. And friends, the pavers are the real nice one. Uh-oh. I really like the pavers. Whoever did the pavers did a good job. Friends, that helps keeps the weed and all the dirt off. Friends, I guarantee that man died right around here. I don't know if there was a battle. Maybe he died of malaria. Friends, 1817? Friends, there wasn't a Publix over here, and Raccoon's Bar didn't exist, friends. I hate to tell you. They're probably drinking some whiskey or something back then. All right, get back to the hot water music here. Hang on. As times I say, we had it all. 3 summers strong. 3 summers gone. Love, hate on rooftops and everywhere down below. But I still care. Get 'em all the way. This is a real tight road, friends. Trust in God before the word. That was our worth. Sorry you hurt. But you brought it all upon yourself. What did it say when it's all been said? I
I'm standing up and catch it. I'm falling and stronger.
Hang on, we got some locals over here.
Should be okay.
My dad took me to that grave when I was a kid. I grew up right over here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he found it back in the 90s, so. And I was going through some hard times, and I remembered it last year. I live right around here. And I pulled some of the weeds, and somebody went out there and finished the job. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, nice.
Those are my drumsticks I put there. I do.
Far from my mom's house.
Yeah.
About a mile up the road. She lives out in the country.
Yeah.
Just some grave from the 1700s.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's this at?
Civil War, Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. I just think it's so unique around here in Brandon, you know. But right here. All right, brother. Y'all be good now. Friends, I miss talking to people. You know, when I'm at home, my wife don't want to talk. You know, we got 3 kids, and it's just noise. And you know, my oldest is. Friends, I don't mean to complain. I'm not complaining, friends. We're just having a little challenging afternoon. That's all. And the kids are all wound up, you know, and it's summertime. It's hot. We're not gonna let it ruin our day, friends. We're gonna go out and talk to some folks. Back to the hot water music. Hang on, friends. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta find out why my songs aren't being able to skip around. Song's called Vultures. Hey, haters out there, hey! Keep hating, I love it. Keep hating on me, I love it. Okay, I'm not talking about you, babe. Look, babe, I'm already over it. I'll come home in a little while. Just log off. Look, friends, I know my wife's watching now. She said I was immature earlier. I guess I am, you know. I did successfully quit my job and sue the perverted government. I'm gonna get a lot of money here soon. I don't know, maybe I'm immature. I guess the mature thing to do was to just do the pronouns and the shots and then eventually just let them fire me and walk away with nothing. I don't know, friends. I'm immature. Buddy, I get paid on Monday and I just found our new boat. Hey, babe, I just found our boat. Hold on. Do we got $400 in the savings account? Traffic here. I can't get it. honey. I'm gonna go take a look at it. It needs a little work, I can already tell. But they only want a couple $100 for it. I gotta go turn around. Traffic's horrible down here. Friends, just imagine. My wife don't understand. I'm sorry, babe. I'm talking about it now. I don't know, friends. I'm buying a Humvee. I'm driving around. It'll make sense. I think it'll make sense once I get it. But it's an uphill battle, friends, you know? Try to do this and not really feel any support at all. In fact, the opposite. Friends, what's the opposite of support? Baker Acts, arrests, family law, all that stuff. Yeah. I didn't need that last year, but I got a whole year's worth of it. I ain't doing it again, honey. You better start praying. I'm not doing that garbage again. I could play every one of these songs on the guitar. Like, I really wanted to be in this band, but God had other plans. I'm gonna tell y'all something really interesting about this boat. Friends, I've never seen this boat before, but my father had one. Literally, friends, I was a kid, but it was like the same size, the same color. Oh, 3,000. Ooh, our trade. Hey, babe, you think they'll let me trade the bug out trailer? So my father bought a boat for a little while. It looked literally almost identical to this. I think he had an outboard. It wasn't an inboard. But we took it to the boat launch the one day to try it out, and he forgot to put the plug in it. And he launched the boat with my brother and I, and he went to go park the truck. And it started filling up with water, and then like I jumped out and I ran and got my dad. I was like, Dad, the boat's sinking. So he had to hurry and put the trailer back in. That's pretty nice, friends. This is like a little, this is definitely a lake boat. You don't go out where we used to go. No, I don't. This is way too tiny for all the kids. But yeah, he had one just like it. Someday. All right, look, friends, my phone's probably gonna die. My wife ran me out of the house, and I didn't grab the charger. So we'll go as long as we can. my buddy Steve and his wife, if y'all are watching. The Drunken Dirt, yeah. I believe this song was about being one of the last. They were the last band to go on, so they were drunk. The friends, it happened. You know, you always want to go on. Well, you want to be the headliner. Hold on, I gotta pay attention here, friends. I don't want no trouble. Friends, look, when you're doing your live streams, don't be goofing off when you're driving. I'm a professional. The band is still playing. It's laden. They're still waiting. Lots of fans, lots of everything. But they're still waiting, friends. Lots of people. They're letting the politics control the scene. Who's listening? See, friends, back in the day, the scene, back in the late 90s, when we were like a part of it, it was like rise up, stand up against the power. Like, friends, what Sgt Grizzlegrits is all about, friends, the scene would have loved it, with the exception of the Christianity part. Friends, they weren't, a lot of the folks were not Christians, you know, but it's okay, I guess, you know. I mean, that's between you and God. I pray for you. But a lot of the music that I was involved in and the people, it wasn't like the anarchy, but it was like rise up against the power, you know. Back then, a lot of these folks that I hung out with, they were very anti the global, the Iraq war. They were out there. They hated it. And friends, I was a soldier. I was a National Guardsman, and I was under the spell. So I lost a lot of friends defending George Bush and the war. Friends, I can't believe it. You know, I told you I hadn't always been as wise as we are now. But friends, you know, I'm not going to let family members or my wife who don't. I gotta be careful. I'm not mad, honey. I'm over it. I just, you know, we just keep touching. Our sparks keep touching at the wrong time. You know, we gotta ground it. You know, we need a ground. We gotta call that Dr. Die Man, get him back in the equation. Well, look, friends, a lot of y'all don't understand Sgt Grizzlegrits because when I get on Facebook, this is mainly my family, and that's okay. I don't really care anymore because I run into people every day that do understand it, and they don't have all that emotional baggage that we all got. That's fine, you know. We're just gonna keep praying for y'all. Now y'all smarten the hell up. That's right, friends. I played every instrument in the band, and I even sang in a few, and I wasn't that good back then. I didn't have the good old grizzly voice that I do now. Good one. Some of their songs are like really, really good, and other ones are like.
It's a gamble, double.
The motor runs. Look, friends, I'm gonna have a sound system put in the Humvee. It's gonna be pretty cool. So we'll be blaring all the Grizzly Records incorporated songs and artists, and then we'll also be rocking things that I like. Let's go to the next one. There's so many songs on here. Honey, don't worry, I won't go bother any child rapists or any LGBT perverted people. Not today. I don't want to go to jail tonight. I don't have the scanner in the truck, but I do have a radio. I don't know. I might have to check it out the window. Songs are sad for this. Take a ride with Sgt Grizzlegrits as we ponder life and all the sorrow and all the victories. Follow me. Where will the road take us today? I guess you have to come along. song's about, let me think, which one's this? I think it's about a guy named Mino, I think. Friends, we're going to my church. I'm going to the church, honey. The church that I adopted last year. But I'm going to hell. Instead of going to the bar and finding an easy woman to hang out with, I went out here and did some good. I did some right. Until my weed eater broke. But I'm buying a new weed eater on Monday, because I guarantee you what we're about to find if my phone don't die is that it's all overgrown again, because a man hadn't been out there in 10 months to weed whack it. And that man was me. Deep. I run deep, Dave. You don't even know who I am. Friends, 20 years later, going through war, working on suicide prevention team, hearing that song, friends, it all makes sense to me now. Friends, I tried to explain to my honey here about attention to detail earlier, and she said she was a perfectionist. Friends, I told you, I mean, we're on 3 different frequencies. All right, here we go. Rolling up to my church. Cedar Grove Baptist Church, over here in Lithia, Florida, friends. Come by and meet the congregation on Sunday. Church service starts at 11 o'clock. Sunday school at 9:30. Oh, yeah. you see what I see? Hold on. I know y'all don't. Let's get out. My phone's about to die. Holy smokeroonies, friends. I mean, friends, I'm blown away. I'm blown away, friends. I don't know if you can see this. There ain't no more weeds. Friends, somebody came out here and put some weed killer to kill all the weeds, which is good, because the man told me all the people here are in their 70s and they don't have no one to come out here and weed whack. Friends, I came out here last year when I was going through this horrible, damn evil, okay? I'm not going to say no names because people still get their damn feelings hurt. Oh, I got 15%, just enough. Friends, I adopted this cemetery last year. Friends, it's full of Vietnam veterans. It's full of Confederate soldiers. They got some Freemasons out here. Friends, they got it all. They got babies. They got infants. Friends, I fell in love with this place. Not because it's a cemetery, but because of the history, friends. Friends, I'm blown away. Friends, I'm speechless. I was expecting to come out here and find this place like I did last year. Overgrown. Friends, I don't even know what to say. Friends, some of these tombs... Let me turn around. Friends, go... I don't know if my videos are still there. The ones I had on YouTube, they removed them, friends. I told you, everybody hates on Sgt Grizzlegrits. I'm the nicest man. Good grief. Look what I did when my family did all this evil to me. Friends, like the last cemetery, the last grave we were just at. Friends, it takes one strong person. Friends, it ain't me. Friends, it takes one strong person to push back on the perverted government and sue them. And friends, that was me. But look, friends, it could have been any of y'all. Friends, when I came out here last year, I was out here for like a month, friends. And then that hurricane that almost blew our home away. Friends, oh my goodness. Friends, I'm speechless. Somebody came out here and finished the job. Because this place had been neglected. And there was a man mowing. But he could only do so much, friends. And he can't do the weed whacking. Friends, it took me literally about 2 weeks to get this place cleaned up. Friends, they had trash not trash. I mean, look, friends, it's not these people's fault. A lot of the families of these folks are not around anymore. I mean, these people were born in the early 1900s. A lot of their families all gone, friends. Friends, let me show you. This is the one that got me. Friends, I had an emotional breakdown over this one. See that little child right there, friends? That child was like, hold on, horrible math. 5? Friends, that child was 3 years old, around 3 years old, okay? Joel Scott, 1975, little baby child. Friends, when I found that tombstone last year, you couldn't even see it, friends. Friends, the growth had covered the whole thing up. And friends, I had a mental health breakdown almost out here because at that time, the devil had prevented me from seeing my own children. And I couldn't be around to protect my kids. And friends, I'm the one that trimmed this back all the way with my weed whacker. But look, somebody came out here or hired someone and they sprayed it, friends. Friends, that spray would not have worked. Friends, in order for them to have to spray this place, they would have had to have somebody come out here and weed whack it. And it would have cost them thousands of dollars, friends. I mean, it ain't a big cemetery. But friends, when you're weed whacking up against granite, friends, you go through line like crazy. Friends, if y'all remember my videos. I was getting pretty frustrated. I think I even threw my weed whacker one day. I got a temper, friends. My wife knows that. That's why I'm out here. I don't want to be angry no more, friends. Friends, I'm blown away. This place, this is not about me, friends. Don't you dare think I'm doing this because I need attention. Look at this. 1910. Hey, honey, I wonder if Joseph Palmer Grizzlegrits is out here with his beard. I bet you if we dug that man up, his beard's still as full as it was the day they put him in the ground. Oh, this is so cool. This really made my day. It made whatever little problems going on between honey and I, it just made it all better, all gone, all washed away. Friends, I'm telling you, this place looked so horrible. I came out here one day because I was just like this. Friends, I don't go to the bar when I'm stressed out. I don't go on Plenty of Fish. I go do things like this. I go out and give back. That's how I get rid of my stress, this evil, this frustration. I come out here and do this stuff. And friends, I did it until my weed eater broke. And it was like a $10 part, friends, and I just never was able to buy it. The primer bulb broke. Friends, oh my goodness. Well, we still need to do a little work. I'm going to get that weed whacker fixed on Monday when we get the actual money. And we're going to come out here with the kids and we're going to finish it. Friends, this is what I want to do with the Grizzly Ministries. I want to come out and identify places like this that just need a little, you know, the congregation's older. If these people were 20 years younger, they'd take care of it. But, you know, Father Time catches up to all of us. Look at this, friends. Look how cool this is. This man loved to fish. And somebody else in his family loved to fish. Friends, I learned so much when I was out here. And friends, that's how I dealt with my stress. God had me out here working. Oh man, let me just take a moment for it. I got like 5%, my phone's about to die. But I'm just gonna pan around real quick. Friends, the lady in the house over there behind us, during that hurricane, a tree landed on their house, and I'm so happy. It looks like they got a brand new roof. Because I got to meet all the people out here, friends. All right, hold on here. Friends, I'm blown away. I am stinking blown away because this place, friends, I don't know the people here. I got to meet the pastor. He came, because, friends, they knew somebody was out here cleaning it up, and I guess... Friends, I was out here at Sgt Grizzlegrits. I had my I didn't have the helmet and stuff. But friends, it was me, friends, but I was kind of in the character. And I got to meet the guy, and he said how thankful the whole congregation was. And friends, I was trying to get it all done for Sunday church, but it literally took me 2 weeks. Again, friends, it's called selfless service. You know, you don't do these things for attention. I wasn't doing this for any damn attention. Friends, God has to keep me occupied. If I'm not occupied, friends, then like most of us, we do things that we regret later, you know? Friends, they did. They sprayed some kind of weed killer, which is wonderful, friends. Now the weeds ain't gonna grow up. And now, oh wow. Friends, some of these weeds were like 5 feet tall, friends. I mean, this cemetery had not had proper maintenance. Again, friends, it ain't these people's fault. You know, it's really the responsibility of the families, I believe. But when your family's all dead, then people like us need to pull up that slack. Friends, this is what Christians do, you know? I grew up as a Christian. My father had me out doing this stuff. Friends, during my spring break, it was 1994, in our spring break, my dad was helping Richie and Tommy Shannon, the two sheriff's deputies. Friends, that's why I don't like Hillsborough County Sheriff. Because I remember them when they weren't as bad as they are now. Because my pastor was the sheriff's deputy, and his younger brother, Tommy, he was the bass player there. Richie was the drummer, Tommy was the bass player. But then when Tommy was done playing the drums, he opened up the Bible and he preached to us. Friends, I told you my childhood was not like y'all's. Friends, Jesus has had me surrounded by musicians, godly men, men who struggle, and men who redeem themselves. Over and over and over and over and over, friends. Friends, I want to go find someone and shake their hand and thank them. Somebody finished my job, but friends, I got to get back out here because there is still no more work to do. Friends, listen, if you teach your kids to do things like this, they're going to stay away from the drugs, the alcohol, because they're not going to want to do that stuff. Because if you're hungover and you're coming out here with me on a Saturday morning, it ain't going to work out good for you. And if you're kids, you better not be drinking alcohol anyways. I met that man over there. He was real nice. I met these folks because I was trying to see if I could do anything for them. You know, they lost power. Their roof was caved in. Look, friends, they got a whole brand new roof. I'll tell you. Friends, this whole street had like 3 of those huge oaks. I mean, when I came out here after the hurricane, because friends, when that hurricane hit, I was literally just about done, and I was going to put the American flags on all the graves, which we still need to do that. I think we got them around the house somewhere. But friends, everything last year, I had no money, you know? I had no money, really. I had my disability, and I was trying to keep our family afloat with all the stuff going on. I did what I could with what I had, you know? It's the Grizzly way for the last time. Friends, I'm still speechless, you know. Again, there's no such things as coincidences. If my wife and I hadn't gotten in that little squabble earlier, and, you know, it got, friends, it got to the point where I just said, all right, I'm going to go for a little drive. I'll be back in a little while. Friends, you got to do that sometimes, When there's no more communicating and it's just this verbally, you gotta break contact, friends. You gotta break contact. You gotta go regroup, and then you gotta, consolidate and do some radio checks and try to sort it out. Friends, I would have never known about that. I mean, I wanted to come back out here, friends, but I mean, with the kids and everything, friends, I would not have made the trip. I mean, friends, I don't like driving. I don't like wasting gas. But friends, I would have not have known about that if this had not happened earlier, friends. Friends, I'm trying to teach my wife about being spiritual and how you have to observe life friends, I'm still learning. I'm like the Jedi. I'm not a Jedi yet. I'm the guy in the training. I'm Luke Skywalker at the farm, I don't even know my ass from my elbow when it comes to the spiritual stuff. Friends, but I'm learning. Friends, when we can learn to experience life spiritually, when we can learn... Friends, I'm sorry, my phone's going to die any second. Friends, when we can learn to experience life spiritually, and it's hard, friends. I told you, my neighbor just passed away. The nicest lady, friends, but that wasn't God's plan. I don't want my neighbors to hear that. It's too soon. Friends, again, life's too short to be having... we're going to have arguments. We're going to have slip-ups. It's how we recover from these things, I'm glad my wife's watching now. I'm sure she's concerned. Oh my gosh, is he going to get on there and start doing what he did last year? No, I have no interest in that, okay? There's no need for that. But, if people can learn from us, that's kind of what the whole point is, People have arguments all the time. And instead of continuing, I went on a drive, and I was goofing off, and then the Lord says, go check out our cemetery, and I did. He says, I got a nice surprise for you out there. And friends, it was a very nice surprise. Because I was thinking, if I have to adopt a cemetery, then I got to come out here I have to come out at least twice a month and weed whack. And that's okay, friends. I'll schedule it in. It's not like I'm doing much now. But friends, that's going to change real soon here. You got to have vision. You got to pray, and when the Lord speaks to you and he starts revealing plans to you, friends, you got to write them down. You got to pray more. And friends, God ain't going to steer you wrong, okay? I don't know, friends. You think I'd be good at running a ministry? Or should I just go work at the local Ace Hardware store? Friends, I'd love to work at Ace Hardware. And I could help a lot of people, pick out some paints and, friends, I can't read a tape measure. I don't know. I might not be good at Ace Hardware. Friends, it's that kind of stuff that really gets me going, all right? It's that kind of stuff I live for. It's doing things knowing that you may never get thanked for it, and somebody may never know about it. But friends, they always find out because God is so mysterious that way. Friends, that's why all right, I'm going to lose we're going to be dead here in a minute on the phone. Look, friends, the Island Boy, I subscribed to his TikTok. I was telling my wife about this earlier. Friends, these guys are goofy, and they were famous overnight for that little Island Boy song. Okay. But the man he's a father now. He recently had a baby, and his baby had a little bit of troubles, was in the NICU. Friends, my oldest daughter was in the NICU for a week. She wasn't premature, but they do that as a precaution. But friends, he's showing his baby on TikTok as a proud father, friends. And there's a lot of evil people out there making fun of him and his baby, friends. And it got me mad. It got me mad this morning when I started reading the comments. Friends, we got to stop doing that nonsense. There's no place for that. Friends, every one of y'all look goofy when you're a baby. You literally came out of a... Friends, I don't want to be gross, but your head came out of a hole like this big, friends. Friends, it's all divine. You can't be messing around with that stuff. And if you're making fun of that man's baby, God's got something really, really divine in store for you, friends. You leave that man alone, God's got plans for him, too. All right, friends, we're going to log it off here. I'm blown away, friends. I need some quiet time just to reflect before I head home and have to deal with whatever's waiting for me. But friends, I'm going to pray. And my wife's watching now, so she knows I'm not mad. I'm just sorting through my emotions, friends. We're trying to make sense of all this. I'm still trying to be humble, and I get upset every time I have to explain myself 10 times, Friends, to be honest with you, I feel like I have to justify every single thing that I do with my Sgt Grizzlegrits and this whole advocacy character. Friends, I feel that I have to, beg her to let me do it, because last time I did it, friends, it didn't work out good for me. Friends, I don't want to go there. She's so sensitive. But friends, that lady did a lot of bad. She didn't understand what we were doing. And if I'd listened to the devil, friends, I wouldn't be on here now, okay? Ooh, squirrel. Friends, again, God's going to test you. He's going to send your family after you. He's going to send your own wife after you, your own husband after you. He might even send your children after you, friends. But friends, you got to pass those little tests. You got to pray. You got to disarm your enemy with kindness, friends. It's so hard. It's so hard sometimes. Friends, I can't just keep explaining 100 times to somebody what the hell I'm doing here, okay? If you don't get it, I'm sorry. You're just never going to get it. And that's how I feel a lot in my house, friends. And it's horrible. It's so horrible. But I'm not complaining, friends. I got no complaints. All right, look, friends, we're going to do a little more. We'll do a little more hot water, and then we'll get on out of here. Corporal Stevens, where's that music at? All right, I need it. Friends, I forgot to tell you, Corporal Stevens was waiting at the cemetery. He's in the truck with us now. Friends, Jesus was out there too, but he just did this because he didn't want me to tell y'all, but he said it's okay now. Friends, you got to get spiritual. God's going to test you, friends. That's literally the whole point of this. That's what I'm learning. Friends, when I was drinking, in my drinking years, friends, it caused me a lot of problems, friends. Friends, I knew I was going to shut up, but I can't now. Friends, when I was drinking in my drinking years, friends, I drank for like 30 years. I started drinking at 14. I quit when I was 42, friends. How many years is that? 30 years of drinking? Friends, it ain't hard to do when you grow up and go to college and you join the military and you go to war and then you hang in biker clubs. Friends, God got me out of all that. But friends, the amount of pain and suffering that stuff caused me, I didn't pass those tests. And God was disciplining me. That's why I lost jobs. That's why I didn't get promoted, you know. My sergeant major said, look, we want to promote you, but you got in some trouble. I was like, well, you know, you're right. And I missed out on my first sergeant opportunities, friends. I told you. If I had been the way I am now, I'd still be in the military. But look, friends, all that's in the past. All right, let's turn it up. Let's roll. Oh, yeah.